the Honorable Chancellor of Assam University, whom you have seen that how actively he has been conducting the entire program of the 21st convocation of Assam University. Professor Rajiv Pant, who is the Honorable Vice Chancellor of Assam University, and I see that it is his leadership quality which are being reflected today through his management, through his vision, through his perseverance. Before I proceed to address the other people on the dais, I see two very dynamic ladies sitting here, one of whom is the better half of the Honorable Chancellor, and the other one is the better half of the Honorable Vice Chancellor. I would modify it once again by saying the better half of the Chancellor and the better half of the Vice Chancellor. Why these two betters? One better stands for what they are holding today, these positions, and that is why they are here on the dais. And the second better, because I have seen them since morning they are here, and how actively they are involved in the conduct of this program. I really appreciate their presence. We have with us the Pro-Vice Chancellor of the university, who is present here, the court members of the university, the academic council members, the executive council members, the other members of different other committees, the directors, deans and officers of the university, the faculty members, the non-teaching staff, and the parents who are present here, whose dedication has brought the results today, because it is said that the parents are the first teachers of any child. We have other guests who are present here, whom I see. They are also very diligently present here since the morning. We have the media persons without whom no glory can come into the society, and it may be the print media or the electronic media, through which all the information, the news of universities like Assam universities are being disseminated out. I also see that this university has offered honoris causa to 3 persons, and 2 of them are in absentia, Professor Dr. Kabindra and Mr. Tirong, who are known in their respective fields, and we could also see and honor Mr. Diganta Vishwakaram, who is working really hard on value-based education. And today, value-based education, even NEP 2020 talks about value-based education, which is in the infancy stage. But a person who has already worked on value-based education, delivering lectures here and there, and as I hear even in this university, I appreciate and congratulate him for this honoris causa, which has been bestowed on him by the university. And above all, for whom this entire program has been organized, it is our lovely, beautiful, fragrant, enthusiastic and vibrant students who are present here. I see they are really very hungry. They came here early in the morning. We started the program at 11, but I know you are here since 7 or 8 in the morning. You are feeling hot, you are feeling hungry, but what is it which is really binding you here? It is the honor of the degree which you have got. It is the honor of the gold medal which you have got, which you are still smiling and still you are cheerful. That shows your perseverance and your character, which the university wants that you should develop. So now, this very beautiful state of Assam, where I am here, which is rich in culture and it is fragrant with the aromatic smell of tea leaves, and it is very appropriately known as the Barak Valley of Assam, of which the university is also very proud. I feel really very young and enthusiastic to be a part of this galaxy of young men and women hosting diverse communities, ideas and values, as I could see that students are coming from different parts of the country and of different cultures and religions. Being a growing university, I see that this university is now almost 3 decades old. It started its existence in 1994, and we are in 2024. So it is almost 3 decades. And what is 3 decades? What is the age of 30? The age of 30 is an age of blooming out. It is an age of growing up. And I see that this university, under the dynamic leadership of Professor Pant, I see the number of courses. Since morning I have been interacting with him and the teachers who have been with me. And I was really, really thrilled to see the number of courses, the number of programs, the number of activities which the university has taken up. And for this, I congratulate Professor Pant and his entire team for reaching such heights. इतना तो नहीं थक गए हैं, कभी-कभी ताली बजा दीजिए तो आपके वाइस चांसलर भी थोड़ा सा खुश हो जाएंगे इनकी मेहनत जो इन्होंने की है. That's much better. And you know, clapping is also a source of energy. Even in yoga and in spiritual studies, those of you who are interested in spiritual study, they say the more cheerful you are, the more you clap and give applause, the more healthy you become. So why not be healthy in this age of tension? Don't think that we are entering a tensionful world. We are in a happy world. It may be any circumstances, and we are always cheerful. In India, we have a very vast education system. And this education system, if you try to compare it with the world, it is the third largest education system following USA and China. And the beautiful part is that we have a number of youngsters here. We are the youngest country in the entire world. So this youngest country, on one hand, we say, and we are always blaming, oh, our country, it has even surpassed China. And today it is at number 1. We say that our country is the most populous country in the world. And we are often grieved about it, how to meet the resources, how to cater to them. But we should also always see the positive side of things. And that is that we have human resource. It is this resource which is going to overpower the entire world. And I see the human resource which is present in front of me, and I'm sure that this human resource will go a long way in building up the nation. Of course, now education needs to be focused towards creating employability of students. I know once you get a degree, your next thought, your next worry is that will we get a job now? You have a degree in your hand, but searching for that degree is really your worry today. But now we are moving towards holistic development of students, and I'm very happy that this university also is talking about skill-based education, and it is this skill which is being inculcated with you. I'm sure that many of you have already found jobs, or shortly you'll also be finding jobs in the near future. Now today, technology learning has allowed the educational institutions to plan, to assess, to facilitate, to implement, and monitor students' learning. I hope that you will agree with that. All your activities today, they are being monitored. This has helped in improving the employability of students, passing from educational institutions to the present times. So now I think your chancellor has given you a lot of advice. And I will not go into that. I simply ditto what he has said, that you have to be truthful and you have to be dutiful towards the society. Now, our worry is that are we today, our education system, this is the topic which I selected to talk upon. When Professor Pant, he asked me, Madam, what would you like to talk? Because I thought that this is the proper time, that how our young graduates can be groomed towards academia, which you have been groomed through the university, but also into a society-friendly citizen. That is my main concern. And for that, we have to plan our role, and we have to see how we have to move ahead. Now, this word which we use, it's written here, 21st convocation, which in our Indian language we call as Dikshant. Dikshant Samaroh. If we try to translate into Hindi, it is known as Dikshant Samaroh. So on one hand, it talks about knowledge or the skill which you have acquired and you are possessing it today. But On the other hand, it also indicates the skill or initiation acquired to give practical form to this acquired knowledge which you have gained today. In English, when we talk about convocation, it refers to a ceremony which is being held here when students, they receive their degrees on successful completion of the course which you have received today. But I'm very happy that today we are all in an Indian attire. I feel really wonderful when I see these colorful turbans and your colorful dresses. It really pleases me from the core of my heart. Now, once we are today talking about reviving our education system, because at one time you know that we had the Gurukul system of education. This Gurukul system of education, we talked about the gurus and where the shishyas, they remained in the Gurukuls. And in this system of education, I would say that there are 3 steps in this type of education. One is a Shravan. Shravan means to hear, that is to get knowledge, which you have been doing. The other is Manan. Manan means to think. That is, now you are going to churn your brain so that you can analyze what you have learned in the first step. And the third one is Nidhi Dhyasan. It means to apply that knowledge which you have gained in one's life through contemplation and churning to give it a practical form, because now you are going to lead a practical life, unless you are going in for higher studies. So now there are many things which you have to take into consideration. But one thing which I would like to bring to the forefront is that when you took admission in this university, you came here to seek a knowledge. You selected a course. It may be BA, it may be MBA, it may be engineering, it may be any type of course which you selected. But when you leave this university, you have to go with a feeling or a sense of service to humanity. And that is the true essence, because it is said that shiksharth aaye or sevarth jaiye. You come to gain knowledge, you come to gain education, but when you go out from here, you go to serve the society. This is what you should aspire, and we should also think about our nation, because once we are here, we are talking about the institution, we are talking about this university, we are talking about this state, we are talking about Assam, because when you do some good type of performance, our alumni, they go out, it is the name of this university which is being enlightened. But if you make something, or if you gain recognition at the national level, then you are recognized as a national figure. If you gain recognition at the international level, then you are recognized as an international person, which I am sure that you will definitely be able to do. Now, this national education policy, I think all of you know, and in your university also, you have been thinking about how to implement this national education policy, because it talks about holistic development of the students, which the university is trying to impart. And now we are also talking about need-based education. Now, one thing is, how do you try to select a course? It is only your interest, or should it be need-based? For example, let us take the example of doctors. So we know that in the rural areas, there is a paucity of doctors. We have a large population who is malnutrition. So should we not think of becoming doctors and serving instead in the cosmos cities, moving out to our rural areas and improve the general health of the society? This also we have to look into. Now, there are many things which I would also like to tell you, but I think let me give you a very small example, which will be a little interesting for you. I am telling you the story of 4 people. These 4 people, just try to understand and be very attentive, however hungry you may be. There were 4 persons. One person is called everybody, the other person is somebody, the third person is anybody, and the fourth one is nobody. There are 4 persons. One is everybody, somebody, anybody, and nobody. Now there is a work which is given, and this important work was given to everybody. Everybody, name everybody, he should be able to do it. So this work was given to everybody and said that everybody, you please do this work. But everybody was sure that somebody would do it. Everybody was sure that somebody would do it. But anybody would have done it. In fact, it was such a simple work, anybody could have done it. But it was nobody who did it. It was nobody who did it. So now this nobody did it. So that was not the end of the story. Somebody got angry. That why did nobody do it when everybody had to do it? But nobody knew that everybody couldn't do it. So he took his responsibility and he did the work. So whom do you want to become? You want to become a person who should, this is just an example, that you should realize your duties, never escape from the work which is given to you, and you should always try to grasp that work, because it is by doing only you will become expert and you will be known for all. Because let me again give you an example of this very university. There are so many teachers, there are so many students, there are so many employees, but there are some people who are very actively working here for this very program, say. Why? Because they have a knack to do this type of work. They have an interest to take up any responsibility. They know that the 21st convocation is to be organized in this university, and they will try very hard that this convocation program should become a success. So be like those people who will take this information and try to move ahead. So now we have a country which has to move very high, very forward, and because we are thinking, our Honorable Prime Minister is saying that we have to become Vishwa Gurus. So this Vishwa Gurus, how can we become? It is not just simple that I say I want to become Vishwa Guru and I will become Vishwa Guru. We have to do something so that we can become Vishwa Guru, and it is we who are responsible for changing the very nature of our nation. Now, I'm just reminded of the words of our Honorable Prime Minister, who in one of his, just like this, he was addressing a convocation speech. So in one of his convocation speech, he said that today maybe you are thinking that this is the end of your university life. After degree mil gayi and everything is over. I am happy, this was my intention to get a degree, and I have that degree. But this degree should be useful for you. It's no use taking this degree and not finding a job. It's no use having this degree and not developing any type of skill. You must have that skill also. So while taking these decisions, you must try to realize that it is true that maybe you are not being taught by professors anymore. But now who will become your teacher? It is life itself which will become your teacher. Life will teach you many things. The society will teach you many things. And it is you who have to face these challenges, overcome them, and become a successful citizen of the country. Like our next generation Indian leaders, it is you. It is you who are going to become our next generation leaders. The students should be able to deal with all types of ambiguous situations and make themselves future ready. Now, what is this future ready? You become ready, like for today for the convocation. You started preparing from several days, and you became ready today for the convocation. Similarly, now you have to become ready for the life. They will be required to demonstrate a willingness to take risks and to move out of their comfort zones. Many a times, the television might be appealing to you, an AC room might be appealing to you, but if you have a work in mind and that's your priority, maybe you have to leave these physical comforts and go in to complete the works which are in your mind. So now, when the time is that we are now going to plunge into a new phase of personal and professional life. Now is a stage when you are entering a new type of personal and professional life. Now you have to make your decisions on your own. Till now, there were parents who were taking decision on your behalf, your teachers who were there to guide you. But now has come the day when you have to make a transition from taking decisions to giving decisions on your own. Now your focus should be on task-convertible dreams, preparedness to take calculated risks, and not get deterred by failures. I'm reminded of the words of Ronnie Odham. I'll just quote these words, which they are very appealing to me. So I quote, excellence. All of us want to be excellent. All of us, we saw that some of the students, they got gold medals. All couldn't get because they were excellent in their classes. So excellence is the result of caring more than others think that it is wise, risking more than others think it is safe, dreaming more than others think it is practical, and expecting more than others think it is possible, unquote. So these were his words, where I think that each graduating student has to leave his unique footprints of excellence, because good students, they are never forgotten by any university. It may be their teachers, it may be their directors, or even their vice chancellors, who always remember them that this was an excellent student of our university. So try to leave your footprints in this university so that you will be remembered by all. Now, every person whom you meet every day, now sometimes, you feel, oh, I know everything. I know everything. And the others do not know. But you can always learn from others also. So now there are many things, but one thing, I was very happy to see the number of girls who got their PhD degrees and the girls who got their gold medals. They have to be complimented. Why? The girls, now Professor Pant, he invited me here, and being a woman myself, my focus is always to see that how the girls are performing. So I could see that there was a time when no girl went into commerce. I could see here in Assam University, number of girls getting their PhD degrees in commerce. I could see girls who were topping, they are toppers in pharmaceutical sciences. I could see girls who were toppers in tough subjects like mathematics and physics, whom the girls never earlier thought to take these subjects. Today they are topping. So now these girls, they have talent. These girls, they are capable of developing at least a 50% human resource. And I talked to the Vice Chancellor. He said that we have more than 50% of girls who are studying here. So what happens that when this talent who is sitting in front of me, when we talk about the stage, here we have 6 people here on the front row, and the ratio is 1/6. Of this ratio is the women who reach here on the stage. My intention is that you girls who have made landmark contributions in your studies, you must work hard to come up to this stage. I want to see if you are more than 50% should always be here on the dais also. Develop these leadership qualities. I want that our girls should develop these leadership qualities. And often even I am asked to go in public meetings and say, Madam, please talk something on women empowerment. I said, your topic is useless. Why talk about women empowerment? Women are already empowered. Women are already empowered, and that is the reason they got so many awards. It is the society somewhere which is preventing them to reach from this type of seat to this type of seat. So my desire, the topic which I chose was also that we should try to bring about some changes in the society and also to rear our students into a society-friendly citizen so that we reach a compatibility where if we are talking about Vikasit Bharat, I would say Suviksit Bharat, or we are talking about becoming a Vishwaguru, we have to utilize this human resource also. So please, I would request all the girls also, all the parents of the girls also, and the girls, they cannot move ahead without the support of the men counterparts also, may it be their husbands, may they be brothers or fathers, parents, whoever they are, they must try to promote their children. There is a change which is coming about in the society, but I want that this change should be even more stronger, so that in future, if we are able to do this, I am sure that we are also going to change the society. We are also going to become Vishwa Gurus. We are also going to become a so-so Vikasit Bharat. So you can't just, we know that the talent is here. We can see the sea. What is the use if we just see the sea and we do not make any attempt? We have human resource here. We have knowledge here. We have talent here. So we have to start working on these avenues. So life is not just simply to survive. The storms come and we say that we have survived in the storm. That is not life. Life is when you learn to dance even in the rain. When you learn to dance even in the rain, I am sure that with these initiatives, this type of feeling, you will definitely try to bring out your inner self. You have talent. Each one of you has inner talent which is inside you. And you might have got gold medals or you might not have gold medals. But still you have some type of talent is hidden inside you. Try to realize that talent. Try to cultivate that talent and try to bring it to the topmost level so that you become a successful citizen of our nation. I'm really very happy to be with you. I feel really enthusiastic and I compliment all of you for your degrees. I compliment the Vice Chancellor, the Chancellor and their entire team, and also thank him for inviting me here to deliver this convocation address. I wish you all the best in life. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.